Welcome to episode 14 of Friends and Film, a podcast where we talk about the latest movie news and theatrical releases. I'm your host, Coop Hood, at Coops_Hoops on Twitter, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Josh Straley, at Straley Strong on Twitter. You can follow/subscribe to the podcast on Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube by simply searching Friends and Film. Josh, what's happening?
Not anything too crazy, but it's April, Cooper.
It is April.
And I have started vlogging every day for what is called Veda. And it's interesting.
Yeah, I did not know anything about this Veda thing until you started tweeting about it and then posted your first vlog yesterday as the day we were recording.
Start cramming cameras in people's faces. It's an awkward thing to start doing.
Yeah, I'm sure. I can't imagine having to vlog about my life for 30 straight days.
Oh my goodness, yeah. It's not quality, that's for sure, but working on it. What's up with you?
Nothing really. Got the it's snowing here in Indiana today, which sucks.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
And my whole family's in Florida, so that's great.
That just makes it worse.
Yeah, it's not great. It's snowing here. I have 2 dogs, 2 cats to take care of, so I'm not sleeping in as much as I would like, but I'm watching a lot of movies as I normally do, and glad to be doing the podcast again. But yesterday was April Fool's Day, and there was one story that I saw that really scared me.
Oh, I hate that because so many people put out these fake stuff and they're like, gotcha at the end of it.
Yep. This one was by one of my favorite sites, Screen Rant, so I was which made me believe it at first. But it was that Zack Snyder was going to direct a future anthology movie for Star Wars, and the banner they had was Yoda, and then his face, and I was like, a Yoda anthology movie with Zack Snyder, and I was like, do I want to see that? I'm not sure.
No.
Oh. That would be the weirdest Yoda movie, the dark and gritty adventures of Yoda.
Yoda with a troubled past. Oh my goodness. You remember early talks for the anthology movies that he actually apparently presented one to Disney.
Snyder did?
Yeah.
That's not surprising.
A Magnificent Seven-esque Jedi movie.
Interesting.
Yeah. I kind of think it was for the better that he went towards DC.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes for him, I guess.
Yeah.
Box office. I mean, BVS did good its first week. We reviewed it. We both had mixed emotions on it, but we're both looking forward to, I think, what is going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
With DC, but we're not going to talk about DC. Well, we are going to talk about DC because there's a lot of news that came out regarding DC.
A lot.
And just comic book movies in general. So, before we get to our review of Captain America, The Winter Soldier, which we are doing, it's kind of a lead up to Civil War. Just thought it'd be fun to look back on the latest one, and it came out on April 4th of 2014, so basically 2 years ago. So I thought, it's a good time. It's a great movie. Why not talk about it? We had one of my friends suggest Spider-Man 3 as a review possibility. So once there's another dead spot in the schedule, and there will be a dead spot in the schedule at some point, we will definitely review that because that'll be a fun one.
Yeah, well, okay. It's gonna be a bullet points of things that they should have done or should have not have done.
Yeah. There'll be lots of things to talk about with that movie, without a doubt. But before we get to that review, there's, like I said, a lot of news that came out. There's a bunch of stuff we wanted to talk about, but we just don't have time. Like Daisy Ridley's audition video for Star Wars came out. A synopsis for John Wick 2. Sicario 2 is officially happening. A Batman script. Doctor Strange set photos. James Gunn possibly coming back for Guardians 3. I mean, there's so much stuff, but we can only cover so much.
Right.
Without giving you guys a 4-hour podcast. And
we could too.
I don't think you guys want that, so we're not going to give it to you. We went an hour and a half last week, so hopefully this doesn't happen again for you guys, so you guys can avoid us a little longer.
We're not off to a good start. We better get going.
Yeah, that's true. That's a long intro. So yeah, before we do get to our review, like I said, we're going to talk about the biggest news stories that broke throughout the week. If you want to go straight to our review, just fast forward about halfway through the episode, maybe a little longer. Depends. But if you're watching on YouTube, there'll be a pop-up on your screen right now. You simply have to click that, and you'll go straight to our review and miss us talking about a lot of comic book stuff, especially DC and Fox, some Legos, some independent stuff. But we're going to talk first about Kingsman #2. Got an official title this week, and it's not Kingsman #2, like I just said, thankfully.
No. A little bit more ambiguous.
Yeah. Director Matthew Vaughn revealed to Empire Magazine that it will be titled Kingsman Golden Circle, and the magazine also released in its latest issue 4 pieces of promo art showing the Kingsman base seemingly destroyed, which was the suit shop from the first movie, a building called the Statesman, which is it looks like a liquor store, but it's the undercover base for the American CIA, basically, which is led by Halle Berry's character, which we have a name for, is Ginger.
Ooh.
Then we also saw a base for Julianne Moore's character called Poppy, and a fitting name for her base is Poppyland. It looks very much like it's in the jungle.
Yeah, South American.
Yeah, it's very, very weird. And then one had a picture of a submarine car that I guess Eggsy will be driving.
Oh, okay, that's what that was. I thought it was a monorail. I was like, what's so cool about the train here?
Yeah, but do you like the title, and do you like these images?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always a fan of giving things subtitles and not just numbers. I think it makes it easier to reference the movie and whatnot. But the art is cool. I mean, it's cool to see. Obviously, it hints at some of the story. But the names of the characters almost sound like code names more than they do actual character names.
I mean, it is a spy movie, so it is possible.
They're not going to deal with.
But I mean, that's at the same point. Our main character's name is Eggsy. So
I know.
Not exactly the most common name.
They're having fun with it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I know you really liked Kingsman.
Yeah, I loved Kingsman. So the title Golden Circle doesn't mean really much to anything to me. I don't know if it's an artifact, if that's a group of people. So we'll have to wait and see what that means. But I did like seeing the other bases for the different factions, and just kind of how it hints at more of the global scope of Kingsman 2 that Taron Egerton's talked about before.
Totally. And I when I looked at the base, I'm almost like, if they're set up in South America, it almost makes me think that we may see a lot of this take place there, just because a golden circle, I think, like you said, like Agent Aztecian artifact that mind controls people or something. I don't know. But
I'm sure you predicted that perfectly. I'm sure that's what it will be exactly. But we also last week talked about a trailer for Lego Batman.
Oh yeah.
And then this week, early in the week, they dropped another trailer for it. Right before we dropped our last episode, so we couldn't talk about them both, unfortunately. But the second trailer gave us a lot more of Bruce Wayne and Alfred. It was just so good.
Oh, it's so funny because it's almost acting like Batman satire. I think I said this last week, if not, but it's almost like it's making fun of Batman, but telling a Batman story at the same time. I just loved it.
Yeah, it was just so good. Him just like talking to like the picture of his parents and how he's like, I saved the city today. You guys would have been proud of me. And then Alfred comes in, he just kicks him right in the face. Yeah. And the fact they got Ralph Fiennes to voice him is perfect.
Oh, I adore that man ever since the Grand Budapest Hotel, and I was like, who's that voice? And I couldn't pin it. I thought it was Colin Farrell for a second, and then once I found out it was Ralph Fiennes, I was like, perfect.
Yeah, that trailer is just great. It just
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just even like the more like I just love the fact that even in the trailer, Bruce Wayne still keeps the mask on even when he's just at home.
That's good.
Yeah.
It was meta too, because you have Batman introduce the trailer, and he's like, awesome people like me get 2 trailers a
Yeah.
week. So that was perfect.
Yeah, I think the marketing campaign for this is off to a great start,
Mm-hmm.
which just makes it suck even more that we have to wait till 2017 to see it.
It would be great too if they did a trailer that sort of made fun of the trailer that everyone hated for Batman versus Superman.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be good, but I don't think Doomsday is going to be appearing in this movie.
Probably not.
There's also this little movie called Blade Runner that came out back in the 1980s?
89. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I'm not good with my dates. But either way, they're making a sequel. Harrison Ford's back. Ryan Gosling's attached to co-star. And then this week, Variety reported that Robin Wright is going to be joining the cast of Blade Runner 2. And then Dave Bautista teased this morning that he might have a role in it as well. So this cast is getting pretty great.
This cast is getting awesome. And I think I fanboyed over or, raved about Robin Wright last week in her Wonder Woman role that I didn't know about. Adding her to any cast brings so much like she could be like the perfect villain in this again, or she could be a totally kick butt agent along with Harrison Ford and Ryan Gosling. I mean, there's so many potential plot lines there.
Yeah. I'm so interested to see how they go ahead with this and kind of the role Robin Wright plays.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dave Bautista, I feel like he's definitely going to be what do they call them? The droids, basically, of the movie.
Yeah.
Shoot. I can't think of the exact technical term they use.
Right.
But yeah, I think he like just kind of that not dead. That's not the like just like kind of his just very non emotional performance, I guess, that he gives. I mean, he's not somebody that just like is super emotional with the way that he performs. I think he would make a great, droid, whatever. Replicant. Yes, thank you.
Took me a minute there.
Yeah, he would just kind of fit that role, and I can totally see Dave Bautista being a replicant.
Totally. Or I thought he would fit a really good role as the head of like the Italian mob or something like that. Like I look at him out of character because I used to only know him from Drax. Drax from Guardians, but when I see him, I'm like, oh man, that guy's definitely been in the mob or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, this movie's supposed to start production in the summer, I believe. So we should get some more official word on, that they'll actually be in the movie and the roles that they will actually be having. So that'll be exciting. Looking forward to that one.
Definitely. Harrison Ford all the way, baby.
Yeah. And this we're going to talk about a lot of comic book stuff. Can move into that part of the show. And going to start off with BVS. We're not going to talk about box office numbers and how it's dropping by a wide margin in its second week currently. But something interesting happened on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Early in the week, yeah.
Yeah, where just a few days after Warner Brothers releases Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice into theaters, they release a deleted scene online that will most likely definitely be in the R-rated cut that they've already announced for the DVD.
Yeah.
This scene, if you haven't seen it, could be spoilery, I guess, but I mean, it's online and they officially released it. And based on the numbers, if you wanted to see that movie, you probably already have. So we're going to talk about it just a little bit. It was basically just a scene of Lex Luthor in the ship that Zod had from Man of Steel and that crashed in Metropolis, where he creates Doomsday in the movie. But after or during that fight where Doomsday's taking on everybody else, Lex is like in the pool of blood and goo. I don't know. It looks disgusting.
Birthing chamber.
Yeah, and they called it, like, they titled the scene Communion. So that's weird. But it was him standing there with a projection, basically, of this alien called Steppenwolf, and he is levitating these 3 mother boxes, which I don't know much about either one of those 2 things. All I do know is that they are hints towards Darkseid, which we talked about last week, and how that kind of, that kind of explains how Lex actually knows about this crazy other worldly person.
Part of me wishes they hadn't taken that out, because I think we had to theorize last week during our review that, he knows about everything because the ship told him. Like, the ship has all this information, and when that scene's in there, it lets you on to know that, he figured out through the ship that there are aliens out there that now know to show up to Earth to come fight Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman. So it's spoilery, but at the same time, it adds a little bit more cohesion.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where after seeing the movie, it's like, I wish that would have been in there, because it would have been able to help me piece together things. But at the same time, they don't actually come out and just say and this is Darkseid.
Right.
So it's you'd still have to piece together things, and as somebody that's not crazy knowledgeable about the DC history, seeing that on screen, I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
What's happening? And I'd lean over to people and be like, hey, do you guys know what that is? No?
Absolutely.
All right. Do you guys know? Nope. Cool.
Nobody knows. All right. Keep going.
All right. We're on the same page. Yeah, and I'd have to go and research stuff after
just
the movie.
like a flash to the side of the guy's head. Steppenwolf? Is that
yeah.
Right? It's a pretty sweet name. Just flash part of his head. So anyone that knows. Anyone that doesn't know is just wonder why that's in there. And you'll find out later.
Yeah. So, yeah. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of kind of scenes like that. If they continue to release these deleted scenes, which is still weird to me.
Yeah.
That there will be more of these scenes where they show more bits of the plot where you're like, I kind of wish that would have been in there, but at the same time, you're like, this movie's already 2.5 hours long.
Right.
So how long did you want to stay in the theater?
Absolutely. There's a 3.5 hour cut of this that Zack Snyder made that he's just upset they didn't get to the theater. I'm sure.
I mean, I think he said his first cut of the movie was 6 hours or something.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So but that happens a lot with film. I mean, I think the Age of Ultron cut the first one was 5 hours or something. So, but that's literally everything.
Sure.
So, I mean, there's there's Dead Space included in that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. So, that's not really surprising. But I think the official runtime for the R-rated cut is 3 hours and 5 minutes, I think. So that's an extra 30 minutes to this movie.
I guess the special editions of the Lord of the Rings trilogy are massive too.
Those are a chore to get through.
Yeah, that's for sure. But they make it so much better, if you ask me.
It's true. I don't know. I haven't really sat down and watched them just because it's 4 hours.
Yeah, it's a dedication. But if you watch the Two Towers extended, you can't go back. Yeah, that's my motto.
It's Zack Snyder's Watchmen, the director's cut's 3.5. I was I haven't seen Watchmen, but I want to.
You haven't seen it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Yeah, I just kind of want to see. I feel like I need to see it. It's just something. It's one of those movies on my list to watch.
Mm-hmm. You'll understand Batman versus Superman a lot better if you do.
Oh, it's tied together. Okay.
Yeah, it's he even said it's a continuation of the themes that he was trying to portray.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, enough Zack Snyder. We're going to talk about another DC movie instead. One that looks pretty good. We're both excited for a lot, which is Suicide Squad. And in the latest, I guess it's technically the first real trailer after the Comic-Con trailer they released last year. But the latest trailer had a lot of fun and jokes and had the upbeat music with Bohemian Rhapsody. It just played really well with the trailer, and it made a lot of people very happy and enthusiastic about this movie. But apparently that was all the fun was in that one trailer.
What?
Because Birth Movies Death has reported that the film is currently undergoing reshoots, which that is not a red flag because a lot of movies undergo reshoots.
Everyone does.
But they said that the reason they're doing these reshoots currently is, quote, to add more humor and lightness,
Right.
which that worries me.
Yeah, that's the telling part of it. Reshoots, no big deal. My favorite scene from Star Wars Episode 7 was a reshoot. But to add more humor and lightness, that's like saying, okay, well, if that trailer was so much fun, that's it? Like, if you have to add more in the wake of Batman versus Superman's really dark, austere, is like, I'm almost wondering, like, were they super worried that...
Yeah, I think this is like a something where it's the backlash from BVS where a lot of people don't like it, and it's in part of the tone and part of just a very convoluted story.
Yeah.
But Suicide Squad always interested me because that's a movie where I think the dark and gritty aspect that DC films have been based on so far really fits.
Yeah, that's where it belongs. I was just going to say that.
But now that they're adding more jokes, like I liked the first trailer for it a lot with the ending with the Joker and like his reveal. The look is okay. I don't have a problem with it, but I'm not in love with it.
Steampunkish.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Just because I felt like and we talked about this when we did our review, I guess, of the trailer.
Yeah,
was that I didn't know what the tone of this movie was because the first trailer was very serious and dark, and this trailer was more, hey, let's have fun and go.
Right.
You know, we're bad guys, but let's go save the world.
City's in chaos.
And now it's like, let's get more of that in there.
Right.
So I don't know.
Like, it's almost like a double. I don't know if it's a double standard or not, but yeah, they're villains. It can be dark. It can be a little bit scary because that's what they are. You know, if you push it too towards the Guardians of the Galaxy scope, it may or may not ruin the characters. But if it's just a little bit more wit and a little bit more humor, jokes, that's fine. But the way I read into it sounded almost like a massive overhaul of certain scenes.
Yeah.
So, but it could just be quick.
I hope so.
One-liners, yeah.
But I also just hope there's not just like random one-liners thrown into the movie. Right. That'd be very weird.
Did Joker just stop the movie to do a comedy routine?
Yeah. So
what's the deal with airline food? Or whatever. That's the joke, right?
What? Well, I don't know what joke. Are you referencing Seinfeld?
I guess that's who I was trying to be.
Yeah.
But I'll stop.
I don't know a lot about Seinfeld, but I'm pretty sure that's what you're trying to reference. Anyways,
yeah,
we're gonna move to Fox because they have this little movie coming out called X-Men Apocalypse, which is following some very good movies with Days of Future Past, First Class, and then earlier this year, Deadpool was a huge hit. So they've got a lot to live up to, but there was supposed to be this other movie coming out at the end of this year,
November, I think, right?
October, I believe, end of October, with Gambit. Was supposed to be coming out this year, and then it's not.
Yeah, the movie with Channing Tatum, right?
Yep, Channing Tatum's supposed to star, and went through this grueling process of trying to find a director. Nobody wanted it, basically.
Oh.
Then they finally found Doug Liman, who did Live Free, Die Hard, the Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt movie from 2014, I believe. And I'm on board for that. I like him as a director. I think he could do an interesting approach on Gambit.
Oh, Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow.
Yes.
Did I say Live Free, Die Hard?
Yeah. I'm like, Bruce Willis? Maybe? No. Okay.
Sorry. It's
Edge of Tomorrow, Live to Die Another Day or something like that.
Yeah, that movie had like 3 different titles.
Yeah.
They Live, Die, Repeat. It was like
Live, Die, Repeat.
That's like the DVD cover, but then the one, like if you go buy a ticket, it's Edge of Tomorrow.
Yes.
The marketing for it, I think, was the other one.
Yeah,
that you mentioned.
The DVD cover is Live, Die, Repeat. That's all in big words. And then like off to the side in the legal print right here, it's Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah. He did not do Live Free, Die Hard. Sorry. Anyways.
Where were we?
Yeah.
The director.
Yes, Doug Liman. He is still attached to direct, but apparently he's not that happy with the scripts, I guess, even though apparently the scripts, from all indications that I've read and people have said online, and like actual like people that are in this business have said that the script was the best part of the movie. So apparently Doug Liman's not a fan, as he wants the whole script rewritten. They're doing a script overhaul currently, according to the Hollywood Reporter, and that since Doug Liman has stepped onto another project, because of these script rewrites, the movie isn't going to start filming until this December. So there's no way we see this movie until end of 2017, early 2018, which I think was something we kind of speculated on when Fox announced those other 2 release dates.
That's right, yeah.
But in addition to a script overhaul, Liman wants to recast everybody except for Tatum.
Okay.
Tatum's still on board, which I'm happy about.
Right.
But they did have Leah Seydoux attached as the female lead, but apparently she's gone now. So that's kind of sad. But with all of these problems, do you think we actually see this movie ever?
I think we actually see this movie ever, because Fox has got movies slated until 2020, 2021, I think, right?
I think they have dates announced till 2020 or something.
Right. And it's just if the script was good and they have a great director, because I liked Edge of Tomorrow. It was a really good film. It was a really unique plot.
Yeah.
And if this is going to be like a Ocean's movie with superheroes involved, I think that could be really fun to go watch. I just feel really bad that it's getting all of these roadblocks, and part of me worried that if it gets pushed back even farther than that, is Tatum going to have scheduling conflicts, or is he just going to drop the project because it's almost going nowhere?
Well, there were rumors at one point that he was going to drop it, but I think that was just like kind of like a marketing thing or not a marketing thing, but something where he said that he wasn't sure if he was still going to be able to do it, and then I think he just wanted more money for the project because of. He's been the one pushing to do this, similar to like how Ryan Reynolds pushed to have Deadpool made. Tatum's been not as much hands-on as Reynolds was, but he's been like, Fox, let's do this. Like, let me do this movie. So I want to see it, but with every day that passes that this movie is not in production, I think the chances we ever see this movie go down.
Absolutely.
I just think, script rewrite, Doug Liman, is being like, I'm going to go do this other thing while you guys try to figure out Gambit. That's not a great sign.
It's not a great attitude either, if you ask me.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got to work.
That's true, but saying like, hey, I'll do your movie, but your script that people like, it sucks, so get that figured out.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a thing. I mean, we've talked about the insane budget that this movie had, or reportedly had, and then, this could be in the wake of Deadpool. They're like, okay, we made Deadpool for $58 million, and we've made like almost $750 million worldwide. So they're like, we need you guys to tone back the budget, tone back the script and everything, and make it a more cohesive, tight movie where we can make it for less than $80 million. And that way we're pretty much guaranteed within the first, the week of opening release globally, we'll make our monies back probably. So I understand it a little bit from Fox, but yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in this movie, and it's not a movie that I'm dying to see just because I don't have that much interest in Gambit as a character.
Sure.
But maybe we'll see Gambit later on. Maybe we'll see him pop up in another movie. Who knows?
Yeah, I really thought it could be a fun summer 2017 movie, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen.
No. Something that might actually happen, though, which I did not think was going to happen, is more Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique in the X-Men universe.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a great thing.
I mean, I love Jennifer Lawrence. She is my favorite actress. I have the biggest crush on her. I think she's amazing. But she's kind of been going back and forth on like, I don't like playing this character. Oh, I love playing this character. But now she's talking to Empire Magazine, and she says, quote, I'm dying to come back. So I know when we talked about the photo last week, I was like,
she's dead.
she's not dying like that trailer's trying to show you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is just more indication that, you know, Mystique's staying around, and that as they continue to make this movie go on, and you know, try to catch it back up to the present day so they can have him interact with Deadpool, and if Gambit ever gets made and whatever else happens, that, you know, there will be actually something to happen. But are you excited to see more Jennifer Lawrence?
Okay. Jennifer Lawrence in any movie is great. Okay. But the X-Men movies aren't my favorite superhero movies on almost any given day. I'd probably lump them near the bottom with all of the Marvel movies. If you stacked them all up there, and then obviously the Nolan Batman. But she brings, like Robin Wright, she brings a huge weight to any movie that she's in because she's such a powerful actor or actress. And her coming back would be great for any movie, any franchise. So yeah, I'm down with it. I'm glad that she wants to come back.
Yeah, I think this definitely something where Fox is like, okay, Jennifer Lawrence is arguably the biggest female movie star in the world currently.
I would agree.
So we're not going to let her go.
Definitely.
So as long as she's interested in coming back, we'll figure out a way to make it work. They've kind of gone back on making her be blue Mystique all the time and letting her actually just play herself, which I'm sure is a reason why Jennifer Lawrence likes doing this. Whereas, you know, she also said that she likes doing these movies because it's an ensemble piece, so it's not her in a leading role. Basically, she might be one of the leads, but she's not somebody that has to carry 60% of the movie.
Yeah, you've got James McAvery and Michael Fassbender in most of the films that she's in, and that really passes the burden around of carrying movies.
Yeah. I was hoping though that you know, moving forward we get to see kind of the next evolution of the X-Men as a team, which we still could. I mean, based on the photo we talked about last week again.
Right.
There's a few people that are looks like they're setting up kind of the classic team where maybe she's more of a leadership role and she's maybe not as hand-on in the field, and we get to see people like Cyclops, Nightcrawler, and more continue to, you know, become more of like the leaders of the X-Men. So we'll see.
Yeah, and it's pretty. I think it's a really great. I like to see that they're shifting her from being the villain over to being a part of the team and not being, you know, the antagonist the whole time.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah. And our last segment of the news is another piece of the X-Men universe.
Yeah, kind of goes along
it's just getting bigger and bigger.
Right, it goes along with that whole Next Generation thing, I thought, too.
Yep. That maybe is somewhere where Gambit could show up. Who knows if they rework the character a little bit. But last year it was revealed that Josh Boone, the director of The Fault in Our Stars, I believe, yeah, that one, that he would be directing New Mutants for Fox. There was no word on, you know, who would be involved in the movie, what kind of characters he was looking at, the plot. But now, according to HitFix, we've gotten our first details on who is actually going to, like, the characters and the cast.
Yeah, some pretty good ones too.
Yeah, so according to HitFix, Macy Williams and Anya Taylor-Joy have joined the cast as Wolfsbane and Magic, respectively.
Awesome.
They also say that Alexandra Shipp Storm from X-Men Apocalypse will be part of the team, which plays into more about what we're talking about the photo.
It spoils a little bit of the movie.
Yeah, and that James McAvoy will be in it as Professor X. So that's cool.
Totally.
And then they also said that Fox is also looking to add Cannonball, Sunspot, and Mirage to the movie. So that's a big cast.
It is, and it could make for a really good, fun movie too. And like when they cast Maisie Williams and Anya Taylor-Joy, didn't butcher it, sweet. I was like, okay, teen movies. Josh Boone, he directed Fault in Our Stars. That's a really good young adult movie. So this could be a fun exciting superhero movie.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'm interested in seeing this, even though,
Totally.
except for McAvoy, I have no previous viewing history on any of these people. Because I'm one of the few people who's never watched Game of Thrones.
Oh my goodness, yes, that's
So,
right.
over this past week, Game of Thrones, like Macy Williams is from Game of Thrones and Doctor Who, and then Anya Taylor-Joy's from the new movie The Witch that came out this year. That's gotten really good reception from critics. But then like other Game of Thrones actors have joined like the Iron Fist Netflix series and like all these other things. And I was like, I just really need to start watching Game of Thrones because
you do.
Everybody in these movies, like everybody in like that franchise keeps getting popped up everywhere else.
This is what you're going to do. You're going to wait until this summer, until this season of Game of Thrones ends.
And then just binge it. Then
get the free month HBO Go trial and then just tear through it because that's what I did last summer.
That's probably exactly what I'll do.
But yeah, I thought she was someone older playing someone younger, like half the time. And she just she's just phenomenal in her role. And I won't spoil anything for you, but
appreciate it.
You will, once you see that, you'll be excited for her role in New Mutants for sure.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've seen nothing but good things about her online. I do think it's weird that they get somebody who is a well-respected young actress to play Wolfsbane, where she'll be transformed into a wolf as her power. So she's just going to be covered in for the whole movie.
Sure.
But, hey, whatever.
But once you watch Game of Thrones, and if you had to pick someone, you'll be like, wow, if any of her character translates to Wolfsbane in New Mutants, you'll be like, oh, that's the perfect fit, of course.
All right.
So
I'll believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the end of our news segment, which means we're going to move on to a review of Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
I don't know. Do you want to go? Because I know you love this movie, and this is your favorite. This is one of your favorite things. So I'll let you go.
Okay.
Because
how do I put this in a way that actually is true?
Okay.
I don't know.
Sounds tense.
I love this movie, man. It is so good. Every time I watch it, The Avengers is my favorite Marvel movie.
Sure.
And favorite movie of all time. But every time I watch Winter Soldier, I'm like, man, Avengers, you're getting some tough competition.
Totally.
And man, this movie, every time I watch it, it just gets better and better and better. It's just incredible. The characters are amazing. Chris Evans, best version of Cap ever, is in this movie. I mean, he's kicking dudes over ships, through walls. He's running through doors. By the way, this is full spoilers.
Yes.
So
if you haven't seen it by now, we're not gonna shepherd you.
Go watch it.
You.
I mean, you can find it.
Yeah, you shouldn't be listening to us if you haven't seen this.
I mean, you should still listen to us.
Listen to us anyway, but if you haven't seen this movie, come on.
Yeah, you just pause, go buy the movie at any store. It'll be there. And then come back and listen to our review, because you won't be disappointed in the movie, at least.
What did you think of this movie compared to the first one, the first Avenger?
I really liked the first Avenger. I loved it being set back in time. I loved, the introduction to Captain America and his origin story. Peggy Carter. I love Haley Atwell.
Absolutely.
She is perfect.
Spin-off series is really good too.
Yeah, which is probably over, unfortunately.
Yeah, 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, hopefully we get to see more of her somehow. I don't know. But yeah, I really liked the first Cap, and then going into this one, I was like, okay, this is gonna be awesome, just from the trailers and everything, and it totally lived up to everything. And Anthony and Joe Russo coming in from comedy backgrounds to doing a political thriller, spy, action, superhero comic book movie is insane.
It was the most. Yeah, it was a comic book movie that packed in so much. It packed in as much political criticism or social criticism as like Zootopia did.
Oh yeah,
like it was crazy.
Yeah, it's just so good, and like Chris Evans was great. Scarlett Johansson, getting to see more of her as Black Widow, basically being the co-star of the movie. I loved that. Anthony Mackie has a perfect introduction into the MCU. I mean,
Absolutely.
the first shot of where he puts on the Falcon suit and he flies and saves Sitwell is so good. And then the barrel rolls and stuff through the air. I love all of that. And I think the thing that makes this movie so good is not only that the plot is just airtight. Like there's no loose strings. There's no scenes where you're just like, I don't care about this.
Right.
Go back over here.
All relevant.
You're it's like, okay, this connects to this. Oh, okay. I'm following along.
Absolutely.
But I think the best thing is the fight choreography, because it's just so freaking amazing. Because Cap has never been so incredible in a fight. Because if you're not sold on Captain America after the first Avenger and Avengers, and you're going through and think, yeah, I know he's just a regular dude, like,
right,
he's nothing special, and then you see the ship sequence, and you're just like, what?
Yeah,
how is he doing this? he's kicking dudes with one leg, no problem. They're flying back 20 feet over the edge of the ship. He's throwing his shield around, just killing dudes. Well, not actually killing them. I mean, he might kill some dudes. I don't know.
Yeah, not
on purpose.
Nothing brutal.
Yeah,
I'm sure just
he's not shooting them.
Large hospital wounds.
Yeah, probably.
He's not shooting them.
Yeah.
Darn you, Ben Affleck.
that was not a shot at Batman.
Oh, of course it wasn't.
It might have been. I don't know. Anyways, but then just the fight with Batroc at the very end of that sequence is incredible, because Batroc challenges him. He's just like, are you more than just a shield? He's like, let's go, bro. Like, let's do this thing.
Okay.
And then he's flipping, and Batroc's like, oh crap.
That is a really great scene, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought it was dumb. I'm like, dude, Captain, just throw your shield and end this thing.
No, he is proving himself. He's proving that.
Oh,
he's taking on the challenge of this stupid mercenary, saying, thought you were more than just this shield. And he's like,
okay,
you want to see what I'm made of?
No,
you want to see what I'm made of? I'm freaking Captain America.
This is the only thing that I thought was dumb, because it's like, all right, you have a hostage situation on a boat, and later in the movie, you're gonna yell at Scarlett Johansson, you're gonna yell at Black Widow for, detouring on the mission, and then you're here with a chance to subdue your guy whose butt you've kicked twice already, taking him down, and then you're going to throw away your shield just to level a personal grudge? Come on.
But I mean, it's part of the mission. His mission is to stop Batroc.
It is, but not like you can clearly take him down with your shield. Just take him down.
But he also clearly took him out without the shield.
Yeah, yes, but I'm just saying,
it's just so epic, man.
It is. It's a sweet fight scene, but you can tell, like, they wanted to put that in there bad enough that...
Yeah. And if they didn't, my life would be missing a little piece.
Sure, but that is with me, that's the only thing I was like, that's kind of dumb, but okay, whatever. It was still, the coolness justified it.
That was...
How about that?
In the theater, yeah, okay. In the theater, though, that was the moment where I was like, I'm sold already. Like, 5 stars, which is what I'm giving it, by the way. 5 helicarriers out of 5.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Because this movie is just perfect. There's nothing that I can complain about with this movie, really.
I can agree.
And yeah, that's my
completely.
10-minute rant about.
That's your 10-minute rant? Is that 10 minutes?
I don't know if that was really 10 minutes, but it was a long time.
Okay, sure.
So yeah, your thoughts.
My thought. Okay, well, obviously we talked about the storyline is so airtight, and the political criticisms. This came out 1 year after the whole NSA scandal from 2013 with Edward Snowden, unfolded and everything like that. So that happened over the summer in 2013, and then it kind of just fizzled off, except for Edward Snowden's now everyone's, he's a hot topic to talk about, or whatever the case may be.
He's getting a movie made about him, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That got pushed, but that's this summer.
It's still coming out later this year.
I think, is that November or October?
October?
Yeah, because it's got Joseph
Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, and Zachary
Is it Quinto?
Quinto. I was gonna say Quinto,
Is
but Quinto
Quinto in
sounds
there?
right. Yeah, Spock from the new Star Trek movies.
Oh, okay.
But they took that idea, the idea of bulk data collection, and just integrated it into the story with Zola's algorithm, and talked about how they know what you've done, and they're going to predict how you'll react to these events. And the Hydra's master plan is to wipe out anybody that could, perceivably be a threat to them in the future. And that's so it's a little bit outlandish in the real world, but in that whole setup, it's like, dang, all of our information is valuable. And people that marketers, they buy that stuff in bulk, and that's why you get random emails telling you to join the gym or buy this designer toothbrush because they know you like things like that. But I that was like the coolest thing, story wise. Oh, I guess story wise too. Like, yeah, the Russo brothers just nailed it. My like Robert Redford, great actor, but throughout the movie, you don't think he's really the bad guy.
Yeah, you don't know.
You just think, oh, he's just being, a tool about the death of his best friend, Nick Fury. Up until, I don't know when the reveal is, but when they find out about Zola, and then they flash to him, and they're like, oh, hey, he's actually the bad guy. You learn about the movie as Captain America learns about the movie.
Which is just great.
I love those things. And then Bucky, too.
Yeah.
I think the Russo brothers said that this upcoming movie is like they wrote it as a romance or
basically.
something to
It's
that
a love
effect.
story.
Yeah. And you really get the first movie, you get the idea that they're friends. He helps them out, and he's super ticked off when Bucky gets knocked off the train. But after that, it's, business as usual again. There's not really any reflecting on Bucky. It's more, there's the girl. That's who I really care about. But then they push it to the future, and then all of a sudden, that's all that Cap cares about now is Bucky, the last link to his past. So that's awesome. And telling them I'm with you to the end of the line, which references back to, the 40s. I think that's a good sweet plot line they're going to explore in Civil War.
Yeah. This movie, like, especially watching it leading up to Civil War, it's just like, just gets you even more excited.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you watch this movie aren't excited to see what happens next for, this Cap and Bucky story, like, what's wrong with you?
Absolutely. I've always liked the Iron Man, the Iron Man story, but the Frodo and Sam comparison that you can put on Captain America and Bucky Barnes, or Steve Rogers and Bucky Barnes, it's awesome.
Yeah.
There's light humor, and like you said, Scarlett Johansson obviously being the real co-star was great, because I feel like she's still underused, even though she's kind of done co-starring in 2 movies now.
I mean, Iron Man 2, she's less of a co-star.
More of a Easter egg that they don't talk about.
Yeah. I don't know how to classify her role in that besides just a supporting character.
That was one of my favorite parts too. And then, like you said, Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson. That was a really good contrast for them to introduce him to as being a part of the VA. Because that's a really good thing to talk about, how they have that similar connection because of their experiences.
Yeah, I that was one thing watching it again, where I was like, I kind of wish there was more stuff like Sam Wilson being like
Sam Wilson.
Yeah, just more like regular Sam Wilson, because
absolutely,
like seeing him like kind of help out those other people, I was like, that's pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of makes you wonder if like he'll be kind of somebody that helps Bucky in Civil War, kind of re-embrace or readjust to the world as it is now, because he kind of deals with that, taking people away from war and the life they're used to, and putting them into the regular everyday life, basically.
Need more Sam Wilsons, that's for
yes.
sure. In the real world, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, in the real world and in the movie.
Yeah,
how about that?
Just everywhere.
Obviously, with stuff with the VA you hear about today is kind of upsetting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really my quick rant about it. I don't know if I missed anything or said anything you didn't agree with. at the heart of it.
No. Did you give it a rating?
I didn't give it a rating, but I gave it a 4.25.
Okay.
Because it's not my favorite, but it's number 2.
Yeah.
So
I would say the only gripe I have with this movie is even watching it in theater for the first time,
Mhm.
the death of Nick Fury I never bought for a second.
No, me neither.
So I was just like, didn't they show him in the trailer in like a hospital bed or something?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, he's coming back. I know it.
Oh yeah, he's like, you're calling the shots now,
Yeah.
or something like that, in a dark cavernous room that you hadn't seen yet. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, this is coming up. He went into hiding into the cave.
Yeah. At the moment when he shot, I was like, oh gosh, he just shot Nick Fury. I was like, oh wait, he's fine.
Yeah, right.
So
Not dead.
yeah, that was like the only real thing. But like, man, I still remember you mentioned the role Robert Redford plays in this movie,
Mhm.
and where he's been the secret head of Hydra for who knows how long.
Sure.
But the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D., like when that happened in the movie theater for the first time, I was just in so much shock.
Yeah.
I guess in awe. I was like, what? Did they just do that?
What's gonna be next? Like,
Did Gary Shanley just say Hail Hydra? I mean, R.I.P., but
Yeah.
did that just happen?
oh my god. Yeah. It was an ambitious idea too, especially when you knew that Avengers 2 is already slated. You're like, oh, so what's Avengers 2 about? Like fighting Hydra? Or, it was just, it gave you so many questions to ask yourself leading up to Avengers 2.
Yeah, it's just crazy that they would just win. They just destroyed S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, the thing that Cap has always been a part of basically is, the government and, fighting evil. And then, this movie, it starts off and he's kind of, he's not completely trustworthy he's not trusting the process that the government now has in this agency.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that builds up perfectly to Civil War. Just more foreshadowing.
Absolutely. The idea that, and also like another idea that they lay out there too is preemptive. I mean, the thing that separates us from, bad guys is the idea that you don't preemptively strike. You wait. You clean up. I mean, like, I know that sounds bad, but it's the idea that you got to at least give people a chance to like change direction. And
right.
He's not down with that either.
No. And like that's like the whole Project Insight,
mm-hmm.
just like going and like the arguments like that Robert Redford makes is like, I mean, there are valid arguments where
mm-hmm.
where he talks to one of the World Council members and he's like, if you knew that tomorrow this group of terrorists is going to go to a soccer game and kill your daughter, would you not stop them?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, then I can't remember what exactly the World Council person says. He's like, that's not like for me to know, or if that's not like in my right.
Right. It's not for us
basically.
to decide.
So, but I mean, it's crazy. And the whole Project Insight gave us our first Easter egg of Doctor Strange, which I love.
What?
Yeah. Like when Sitwell's on the roof after he's thrown off and Mackie rescues him. And he's down on the ground. He's talking about what Project Insight is in the formula, and then
Solo's algorithm. Right?
Yeah, and he's talking about he's like it will identify any threat before it happens, and he's like Bruce Banner, Stephen Strange, teacher from you haven't.
I don't pay attention to that part.
Oh,
I just hear him rambling, and then it flashes real quick to Captain America, and they're like, "Well, we're gonna stop him,"
Yeah.
What? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, man. This is so good.
How have I missed that? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so clever too.
Because back in 2014, it was before the movie was even announced, I believe. Benedict Cumberbatch hadn't been cast yet, and then they're just like all these threats. They're like Bruce, like we could stop Bruce Banner, we could stop Stephen Strange, we can stop this teacher in Australia or something, which some people think is Moon Knight. Like there's all these I love
awesome.
the little Easter eggs that happen.
That's clever too. Man, that all happened so fast. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, it's very quick. But that's one of those little things that I love about the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
That they're always, it's not like, hey, wink wink, here's this Easter egg for this upcoming movie. It's
Right.
like you got to catch it.
Yeah, there's the difference in subtlety. There's the TV show Gotham and their Easter eggs, and then there's the MCU and their Easter eggs.
Oh, let's not talk about Gotham.
All right, we won't. This is Marvel's hour.
Yeah. And Gotham's not a film, so we're not gonna talk about it.
No.
And I gave up on that show.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for
recently.
I don't think I told you, but I called it after the 3rd episode. I was like, done.
Oh yeah, I made it into this season, and then recently it came back from its winter break, and I was like, I am not feeling whatever's happening in this show. I'm out. I don't have time for you, little Bruce Wayne and Jim Gordon.
It was a great way to start the series, but too much inclusiveness of that's like,
it was a good premise, but yeah, the inclusion of like the young Bruce Wayne plays way too big of a role
right.
at the age of 12 or whatever old he is. So what did not work for you in this movie?
I think I said it, and that was really it. It was just the idea that the only thing I hated was he tosses his shield aside and was like, hey, I'm going to fight you, even though there are hostages on the line. And later I'm going to hold Scarlett Johansson to a different standard for not taking care of business like she was supposed to. That's about it.
Okay.
I could argue maybe about blowing all 3 helicarriers out of the sky was too much carnage, but it all lands in the river and there's no residual damage, so that's all.
Yeah,
moot.
I mean, and you can't just not let them be destroyed.
Right. One of those carriers existing,
you have to destroy them.
He can still be turned to wipe out untold innocence.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's so perfect. But the biggest thing was it was political satire laced into a MCU movie with unbelievable heart. With from Captain America and Bucky to Sam Wilson and his VA ties to Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow getting a more playful side than we've ever seen her have. So I thought that was fun too.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Cap Bucky relationship, and that's something I love about this movie, because the first half, for people who aren't aware of the first Avenger and that Bucky, probably doesn't die in that movie, and then if you don't recognize the actor, you just think, oh, who's this dude with the metal arm? Like, who's this assassin? And then you can kind of see hints of it here and there. It's like, is that Bucky? And then when the reveal actually happens, it's so good. And it's just like the emotional turmoil it puts Cap through. It's like, well, crap, man. My best freaking friend is a Russian assassin. Yeah. He works for Hydra. He's been brainwashed. Like, what is happening? Like, and then he puts blame on himself because he didn't save him, and he reached out but he couldn't grab him, and then he thought he fell to his death. And then there's just kind of that inner turmoil where he doesn't know if he can do what's going to be necessary in that final battle. Where that's where, like, Sam says, he's going to be there, right? Are you ready to do what's necessary? Mm-hmm. He's like, I don't think he's the type you save.
Right.
He's the type you put down. And then Cap's like, I don't know if I can do that.
Right.
And
which is,
it's valid from his. It really just depends on what view you look at it from Cap's perspective. As a soldier, he knows he has to stop him.
Totally.
But as Steve Rogers, he's thinking, that's my best friend that I thought died 60 years ago.
Yeah. And he's the only connection to his old life. And they make that abundantly clear with Peggy's Alzheimer's. So
that scene.
That's brutal too. Like,
so
the emotional weight in this movie is fantastic. And I don't think you get that from any other movie other than I have one. And I think we're going to talk about our top 5 MCU movies.
Yeah, we can do that.
Are we good? Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and reveal it then.
Okay.
Ta-da! Iron Man 3.
That's your favorite?
That's my favorite. The themes that Shane Black took from the Avengers and laced into Tony Stark's story in Iron Man 3, I thought was phenomenal. They give him a bit of PTSD to add to his his arrogance, but then at the same time now he's starting to worry about everything. So that leads him to the creation of all those suits, and that in and of itself was a great way to launch it. And then finally, when he meets, I can't even think of the kid's name anymore. When he meets the kid,
Harley,
thank you. Then that kid kind of helps him figure out, well, dude, Iron Man is you. It's not your stuff. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, to this day, I just love the scene where he throws the arc reactor that had been in his chest into the remnants of his Malibu beach house, and he's like, well, the truth is, I'm Iron Man.
Yeah.
The suit isn't anything. So that's Iron Man. I mean, that's my top Iron Man 3. Then there's Guardians of the Galaxy at number 3. And then Avengers at 4, and then Ant-Man at 5.
Wait, what was 2?
Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I think I said that earlier, but I should have come back to it. Yeah. Winter Soldier at 2, Guardians of the Galaxy at 3, Avengers at 4, and Ant-Man at 5.
All right.
Yeah. I'm Paul Rudd, people.
Paul Rudd is definitely great in that movie.
I know. Mm-hmm. And
I think personally, the movie in of itself was a letdown.
What? I thought it exceeded my expectations.
I feel like that was one of those things where I had low expectations, like low expectations for the movie going in. Then the reviews came out a couple days before, and everybody was just like, so good. It's so good. It's so good. And I was like, oh, this movie's actually going to be really good. And I was like, yeah, it was good.
It was the first Marvel movie I didn't go see. The first MCU movie I didn't go see opening weekend. I let it sit for 2 weeks, and I was like, I better go see that real quick. And I'm like, why did I put this off? Right. This is great.
It does have a lot of good parts.
And it established the Paul Rudd rule for me. If Paul Rudd's in it, you're gonna go see it.
That's a dangerous rule to play by.
It is a dangerous rule to play by.
He's not in the best movies all the time. Lately,
they have a bad Paul Rudd movie since Anchorman. Oh, don't say role models. Don't say role models.
Since
everybody relapses sometimes.
What's the My Idiot Brother? You seen that?
No. Just sounds dumb though.
Yeah. It's just him, and he has a really long beard, and he's like this like homeless brother of like Tina Fey's or Amy Poehler.
They're all three in it?
One of the two I think is in. I can't remember. Like he has 3 sisters in the movie, and one of them is like I think it's Tina Fey.
Oh, that would
but it
be
might
awesome.
Not be, honestly. I can't remember.
There's one called They Came Together on Netflix. It's a comedy with him and Amy Poehler that spoofs like romantic comedies.
Huh.
You need that. Put that on your queue too.
Okay.
That's good. But what about your top 5?
Okay. So I've already kind of made it clear that Avengers will be at the top of this list because it's my favorite movie ever. So it would not be my favorite Marvel movie. It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Then Winter Soldier's at 2. The original Iron Man is at 3 for me. Followed by Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
And then Avengers Age of Ultron.
What? Okay. What do you like about the first Iron Man more than the third one? The second one's good, but it's a little bit of the same from the first one, I thought.
I just think the original Iron Man, it's what started this whole universe. Mm-hmm. So that's a bonus.
Incredibly.
I think it's a perfect origin story.
Absolutely.
There's nothing in there that, him being captured and tortured and then creating the first suit and then him experimenting. I really love what Tony, actually being a genius, a mechanic, and seeing him create all this amazing technology. I don't know. There's just a very special vibe I get from that movie.
It was my first Robert Downey Jr. movie. And then, from what I understand, it was his comeback too. I mean, he'd had his problems, and people try to compare it all the time to, hey, Iron Man was Robert Downey Jr. taking himself and applying it to a Marvel character that fit his description well.
I mean, based on how, I mean, he is the embodiment of Tony Stark.
Absolutely.
I mean, just the way he acts. I cannot picture anybody else playing the role. And I mean, the directors have talked about how eventually they'll probably have to recast him at some point once Robert Downey Jr. gets too old to play the part. But I just would rather them not deal with Iron Man.
I would, yeah,
and just leave him alone for 50 years until I'm gone, and then just reboot him for a new world.
Wait till this entire generation has died. And yeah, like I think we talked about like once about maybe they should just make someone Iron Man, but don't make him Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Leave Tony Stark's name out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be totally fine with somebody else being Iron Man. I just don't want to see, another Tony Stark, because to me, as with a lot of these Marvel characters, whoever's playing them currently will always, in my mind, be, that character.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's my list. Age of Ultron.
I'm really surprised that's up there, because I feel like even Thor could have displaced.
Thor is Thor 6 for the record.
Is it really? Okay.
So it is close. But yeah, I think I'm very hopeful that Civil War will be the top spot in a month.
I think so too. If it doesn't ideologically, it's gonna have to ideologically knock off Iron Man 3, which I think is a hard thing to do. But all indications say that it's going to replace Winter Soldier at 2 at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, I just think Civil War is going to be it's the culmination of everything that's happened so far. It's, the clashing ideologies that you want in a versus superhero movie.
Yeah. Here we go.
Whoops. But I mean, it's true. I mean, this movie is not like I saw the funniest meme online this week where it was Iron Man and Cap talking.
Okay.
And Iron Man goes, "Save James." he's like, "Who's James?" "James Rhodes. He's my best friend." And then Cap goes, "Your best friend's name's James?"
Yeah.
"James Buchanan Barnes is my best friend's name." It's just like, oh gosh, that didn't take long. Yeah, but it's true. I've never thought about that either.
Absolutely.
Bucky's first name's James. Rhodey's first name's James. I mean, hopefully
classic.
That's not how Civil War ends.
Yeah, if you don't get that,
go watch BVS.
Yeah, go watch BVS or listen to our review of Batman versus Superman. Yeah,
I laughed pretty hard when I saw that.
That's good. Week. I mean, I never put to credit of Snyder, I never put together, Marthas, but
me neither. I don't think most people had.
No.
So yeah, I definitely don't think that's how Civil War is going to end, and I think it's definitely going to be a fight. And I know some people have questioned, what the stakes of this movie are, because they are all friends, and even in like the latest international trailer, there's like a clip of Black Widow and Hawkeye fighting at the airport, and Hawkeye goes like, "Are we still on for?" And Black Widow goes, "Are we still friends?" And he goes, "Depends on how hard you hit me."
Yeah,
and it's just like, I'm not sure how that fits in context, like in the heat of battle, but we'll see. I mean, the Cap Bucky versus Iron Man fight that they've shown a couple of times, that's definitely doesn't look like they're holding back.
Oh, totally. And the biggest thing too is gonna be, I really think with two people like that, like Scarlett Johansson or Black Widow and Hawkeye, that they both know that this fight isn't between them. They're just there to look busy. So I think it fits their characters.
Yeah.
But you're like you said, like if there's a whole battle raging around them and they're just making jokes with each other or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how that fits.
Yeah.
But
we'll see.
Right. Are we doing a preview episode for that?
As long as we can make it work.
Okay.
I'm sure we will be. That's in the midst of finals week, so that'll be tough.
Gosh.
But at the same time, I'm gonna be all amped for Civil War anyways, so it's gonna be good. It's gonna be great, honestly. Who am I kidding?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it for us today. This episode of the podcast. During our time away, be sure to tell us your thoughts on everything we covered by tweeting us at Friends and Film, where you will receive updates on the podcast, movie news, and more. You can tweet us your fan questions. We'd love to answer them on the next episode. Also tell us, your suggestions on stuff you want us to cover, or maybe a movie you want to hear us review that's old, like Spider-Man 3. We'll do it just for you, Cole Douglas. Anyways, you can follow me personally on Twitter at @Coops_hoops.
And you can follow me, Josh, at Straley Strong on Twitter.
And if you're listening to this on YouTube, SoundCloud, or iTunes, be sure to subscribe, like, share, give us a thumbs up. And especially if you're on iTunes, it'd be great if you gave us a review. And if you do so in the next week and a half, basically, from when you guys are hearing this, you will be eligible to win a copy of Captain America: The First Avenger. So that'll be cool for you guys.
Ta-da!
Lead up to Civil War. If you have seen Winter Soldier, you're kind of like, hey, I don't remember seeing an origin story of this guy. Here it is.
Yeah.
I don't know why you haven't seen it, but I mean, here it is. If you have seen it, you don't own it. There's your opportunity to get it. So yeah, go give us a review. And I think we only have one currently still. So unless you guys just want Landry to win it, just I guess don't give us a review, but we'd appreciate it. So yeah, thanks again for tuning into the Friends of Film podcast. Josh, any final words for the audience?
Internet, thank you so much for stopping in and putting us in your ears.
Yeah, and as always, be sure to watch new movies before we return next week with hopefully a review of Demolition, as long as they decide to give it a wide release. That, or I'm still waiting on Midnight Special to get here.
Adam, yeah, come on.
Or who knows? Maybe we'll do a review of Spider-Man 3 next week.
Stop being elitist, Hollywood.
Yeah, we'll do something. So thanks again for tuning in to the episode and to the podcast. Do all the things I said before. Subscribe, like, follow us. And just enjoy the week, guys, until you hear us again. See you later.